Ladies and gentlemen, hang on, let me have my tea. It's very important. I do want to say shoutouts and thank yous to Mr. Red, Cycloud, Ciela, Hardboiled, Doralis, Grand Spectre, and Diddy, Bragwin, Melkor Blade, and the person who not only put this on the list, but is the majority shareholder by... You know what, hang on. Let me actually do the math on that. 96.48%. Imperial Star Destroyer. Thank you very much, all of you. Okay. So this is a block. We're going to be playing Mega Man Legends 2. We're going to be playing Mega Man Legends 2.5, which is the Misadventures of Tron Bonne. Everything seems to be working. Hopefully we will not have any issues there. I'm going to do one quick tech test, super quick. Just kind of want to make sure everything's lined up correctly, because it should be. That doesn't look quite right. Mega Man Legends 3, well, Capcom doesn't give a crap about Mega Man fans of any type or variety. Trust me, I should know. Okay, looks like it's tracking correctly. Good, good. Another Capcom game, Trihexia. If you were wondering. Alright, so, without further ado, let's just jump into this. Fresh boot. Not quite, Mr. Red. I decided to put it under visual storytelling instead. And now I'm blind. And yeah, I'm just going to put the controller down. This is why I didn't want to start with this, because I knew this was going to start, because tech tests.
Barrel? I was thinking we should get started soon. Hard to believe it's been 10 years since your daughter and son-in-law were lost here.
What were they thinking? Leaving their daughter behind and going to such a dangerous place? Are you sure you won't change your mind? Are you still determined to go back there?
It's too late to turn back now. I've spent my entire life working toward this. I can't turn back.
Mr. Werner von Blucher, Mr. Werner von Blucher, please
That time
report to
already?
the Central Hall. The press
Well, then I'll
conference
go
is
on
about
ahead,
to begin.
all right?
Mr. Werner von Blucher, Mr. Werner von Blucher, please report to the Central
I guess
Hall.
Roll
The press
decided not to
conference is
come,
about to
then.
begin.
Oh, yes. She's a little upset at the thought of someone finding the motherlode before she does. After all, she's been looking for it all her life.
I've always been fond of Roll, you know that. But all's fair in love and war.
This has no application in either of those categories. This is looting.
Nothing to report, sir.
Keep your eyes wide open. If any pirates show up, I want them taken care of immediately.
Yes, sir.
No one has journeyed to Forbidden Island and returned to tell the tale, but today 2 men who have devoted their lives to studying that infamous island...
Did you have to call so many reporters?
Can't have all the fun myself, can I? The more the merrier, wouldn't you agree?
You never change, do you? Just try not to make a fool of yourself or me.
The Hyper Network television.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you for your patience. I would like to present to you a brief description of our planned expedition.
Now tell me, just what do you think you're doing here? I thought you had gotten out of the pirate game,
Stuff it, Clyde. Mind your own business. We've got enough problems as it is.
What, did your little department store go under already?
Ah! No, it hasn't gone under. We're just a little in the red this month, that's all. Just need a little extra cash to make ends meet.
If you didn't buy only what you like, maybe we wouldn't be in this fix.
Shut your traps. I'm trying to listen to what he's saying.
What did you say, you big tin can? Who do you think you are?
No squabbling till the job's finished. Remember, Teasel?
Teasel.
As I'm sure all of you are aware, no one has succeeded in landing on the island beyond this tumultuous cloud and lived to tell the tale. No one, that is, except Professor Barrel and myself. 30 years ago, Professor Barrel and I journeyed to that island and returned. Over the years, we've been asked many times what we saw there. We have kept that knowledge to ourselves, but now I intend to give to you the opportunity to see it for yourselves.
Well, that's not extremely dangerous. Yeah, I'm gonna create an artificial sun in the middle of Manhattan, right in front of a bunch of people. Of course, Rock would be the cook. That actually fits so well. Not that that's Rock.
Roll, breakfast ready. I made the eggs just the way you like them. Hey, look, it's Gramps.
Huh?
Don't worry, Roll. The mother lode can't be found that easily.
Oh.
Professor Barrel and myself are confident that the mother lode, which has been sought after by all mankind for numerous generations, does lie buried somewhere on this island.
Ignore the two gentlemen flanking us with fricking Uzis.
This ends my presentation. Thank you. And now, are there any questions?
Excuse me, Mr. Blucher?
Yes?
How did she get it?
Has your research given you any clue as to what exactly the mother lode might be?
That's a good question. Personally, I believe it to be something of tremendous importance to mankind. Something that will help us better ourselves and the world. Perhaps a new energy source, more powerful than our current refractors.
Or xenomorphs.
Tell me, what do you think?
Well, I think... Matilda! You're alive!
What?
That's her! That's the one who stuffed me into that locker! Has it occurred to you that this great lost treasure might not be what you think it is?
Keep your eyes on her.
What happens to you is no concern of mine. Still, I'll give you this warning. What you call the mother lode is not what you think it might be. No, it's not a treasure at all. It's a catastrophe waiting to happen. Gats!
Hold your fire! Cease fire!
Look at that, Diesel! Isn't it amazing?
I smell a mighty big treasure, Tron.
Get out of my way, I can't see.
Whoa! Watch what you're doing! You're trying to get me killed!
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cause such a ruckus. Still, the child must not be allowed to awaken. There's no telling what might happen if she does. Understand? You have been warned.
That's a really good mic. Working with that much wind and at a distance.
Catastrophe? A child? What do you mean, Matilda?
Mega Man, did you see that? That woman! She was my mother.
Huh?
But how? Why? My mother wouldn't do anything like that, would she?
Let's find out.
She
What-
would if
what?
she was killed by the xenomorphs.
Just go there and we can find out for ourselves.
But...
It's the only way to be sure, you know?
Oh, I guess you're right. Let's go. I'll get changed, then get the engine started.
They all are. Okay.
Finish this for me?
This is the era of the carbons. Which works weirdly well as the future after ZX Advent, but we talked about that during the ZX runs. All of that was before the title screen. Alright, what do we got? What do we got? I'm not gonna try to mess with that. Oh god, oh god, okay. This is more options than I was ready for. Okay, so we got manual lock on, I think. View is reversed, and I'm just gonna live with that for the moment. Alright, you ready for this? Here it comes. Plus to intro, or more accurately, plus to opening cinematic. Something I have talked about a few, I don't know, trillion times at this point in my career, is that specifics, how do I phrase this right? Sitting down and actually doing something good, as opposed to trying to do something realistic, almost always makes something better. It's also skippable, that's true. I skipped it by accident when I was doing some tech test earlier today. Like, okay, hang on. I'm going to do a really dumb way of making my point here, okay? But I want to make my point. I could use FF7 as an example of this, because it is an example of this, but I feel like there's something that just gels with me, personally, a little bit better. Because I was never really a PlayStation person. I had something else going on in my life. Now, what? Oh, right, of course. Yeah. Duh. Ignore this. This is for the theater. But I can make my point very quickly here. Honestly, I've sort of already made my point. Excuse me. This is a game that came out in, what, 92? Something like that? It was something of a prototype game. They were literally understanding how the SNES worked as a console, because they were inventing how video games were being a thing at this point. They were quite literally bleeding edge, right? That's as far ahead as they could possibly be. And yet this screen right here does everything it needs to convey everything that it needs to. Now, The point I'm trying to make is that in terms of graphics fidelity, this screen looks terrible. There's no proper shading on the grass. There's actually no texture for the grass. Link himself only has 2 skin tones. In fact, he is mostly a 2-tone character in general. He is, of course, pixelated, which is its own problem. And I could go down the list. Like, it would be legitimately hard to actually get an idea of exactly what you're looking at in a realistic sense. And yet, despite all of that, art direction, art style, art usage is what carries this, is why I have said, and I mean this with total sincerity, there's no nostalgia goggles here. This looks good now. And that's my point with regards to Mega Man Legends. The fact that it's usable and workable. I don't know how many of you were really paying attention to that cutscene. Did you notice how often they'd go for a close-up shot and they would actually despawn most of the rest of the cutscene, replace it with either 2D models or nothing at all, just use a specific camera angle that doesn't show the other stuff, so that they could show things with relatively little latency or issues rendering it, right? And then they would have, you know, the movements are all brief and almost robotic, no pun intended, but they're all very clearly thought out. There's real work and effort put into it, so you can always tell what they're thinking and feeling and how they're moving. The voice acting was surprisingly good as well, which is its own kind of bizarrity while we're on top of things. And the blocking of the scenes, the nature of how the pacing of the overall cutscene worked, it's good. The fact that they look like really cheap Legos doesn't diminish from that. If anything, it's just a good example of how they used what they had properly. Let me make this statement as absolutely clear as I possibly can. The Last of Us 2 would get positives for graphics fidelity because of course it would. But the cutscene we just saw is better than most of the cutscenes in all of The Last of Us 2, point for point. And I mean that. Not jokingly, not memeingly. Oh, and in case you think I'm picking on Last of Us 2, the specific reason I brought that one up is because it's one of the most recent, really graphic fidelity games we've played. In fact, the only other one that would really qualify into that category would probably be Red Dead Redemption 2. And I can't really make the same comparison because RDR2's story was legit. My buttons are different. Hang on. There we go. Tutorial! Yeah, sure. Okay, decently responsive. I'm with it, I'm with it. Extremely confusing on the map, but that's okay, I can live with that. Which game, Jordan? I don't recognize the acronym, sorry. Oh, Last of Us 2. Got it. Oh, my jump is a little bit more. I was gonna say actual analog movement, so that's nice. We did have that issue last time. There we go. Listen, this is the Mega Man game tracks here. We don't have tools carrying over from previous games. No, yeah. PlayStation 1, J. Palmer. Oh, I have to hold down? Oh, that's... okay. It's so weird hearing the Mega Man 8 sound effects in this game. Well, they're all carbons, von Falkenstein, which is... it's about as in-between organic and synthetic as you can get, which is the point. Everybody has cybernetics and everybody has organics. They're all carbons. There's more to it than that, but I don't want to spoil. Because Mega Man XZ and some other stuff, or ZX, whatever it's called. Interesting. Well, considering that by the time we got to the Mega Man X games, most of the biome of the Earth had been replaced by, you know, synthetic stuff. And by the time we got to the Z games, there was essentially no organic life left. You know... The lack of music is a bit like weirding me out, but that's okay. Do Mega Man games have nice continuity? No. There is a continuity to some specific Mega Man games. That's probably the safest way to put that. That is very disorienting. Let's see how terribly I do as we go. We've talked about this. Capcom hates Mega Man fans, Jordan. I'm barely joking. They really do seem to hate us.
Hey, Data, you're kinda in the way, you know?
Hey, I just thought maybe I could help you relax.
Yeah, well, thanks, but could you sit still? Oh! Data, please, get roll fast!
Boy, Mega Man, I'm disappointed. I thought you were braver than this. You can do it. Come on, Mega Man. Data, you stay out of Mega Man's way. Kiki!
Boy, oh boy, phew.
There. All done. Everything's in working order. At this speed, we should catch up to Gramps any time now.
Boy, that new engine sure is something. Completely different from the old one.
Well, it was expensive, but it was worth it. I'll take over.
Thanks.
Data, it's almost lunchtime. Can you get everything ready? Okay. Mega Man, thank you.
Huh?
Well, I was a little down before, and
Uh-huh.
I was thinking, what would I do if they find the mother lode? I guess I got a little scared.
Scared? Why?
I've been searching for the mother lode because I thought if I found it, I'd be able to see my parents again. I guess I was just fooling myself. I've got to accept reality. Face the facts. They are gone. Both of them are gone.
You literally saw your mother earlier.
Oh.
But still, when you said we should go see for ourselves, I remembered something my mother told me a long time ago. She said a digger should never give up hope.
Right.
My mom, and my dad, and the mother lode. I won't give up on them yet.
That's the spirit. We'll find him, Roll.
Anyway, Mega Man, what should we do once we catch up with Gramps' ship?
I'll get back to you on that.
She does look a lot like my mother, but I can't believe my own mother would do something like that. I wonder who she is.
Oh my god. Who split up these audio files?
The Flutter can't get through the winds surrounding Forbidden Island. We'll need a special ship if we want to land there. My father once designed a special kind of flying ship called a drop ship. I'm pretty sure we could use it to get there. I'm really sorry, Mega Man. I needed to upgrade the Flutter. I'm afraid I sold all your equipment. Please forgive me.
You could have asked me before doing it. I probably would have said it's okay. Just saying.
Okay, we can figure out what to do once we get there, right?
Yeah, with no
Do
weapons.
you smell something burning?
Mm-hmm.
Data! I'll go see what's wrong.
Wait, Mega Man, take this with you.
What? What is it?
It's a fire extinguisher. I'll tell you more later.
Okay, back me up.
Actually, yeah. Both Metroids and Mega Mans have always had either excuse reasons or no reasons for why the power-ups just go away. That's the first time I've seen an explanation that's worth a damn. Yeah, I totally know how to use the fire extinguisher.
Mission start!
Found a thing. I've actually seen a fan explanation for it in the classic Mega Mans. It boiled down to the idea that Dr. Light is such a peace-loving beatnik that he actually got pissed at Rock for adapting the weapons at all. As in, he wasn't supposed to, you know, gain the weapons of his enemies. So Dr. Light, of course, immediately deleted all that data. Data, speaking of which, how did you set this much fire? This is not that large of a ship, and yet, here we are. How is the TV on fire? Why is the TV on fire? Data! This is why I'm lore, not data. Sorry, future TV. Sorry. No, I could let you die. I like letting little innocent monkeys die. Especially when they're robot monkeys. I have no health. I like how Data keeps tackling me. It's just, you know, helpful. God, I cannot depth perceive right now. I cannot tell what I'm looking at. I think I'm hitting it. Nope, I'm dead.
I fixed the sprinklers, Mega Man. I'm going to turn them on, so you'd better get out of there.
And I'm going to throw data out the window.
You're too late, Mega Man! Mission complete! Mega Man, we're here! We've caught up with Gramps' ship!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was actually a mission failed.
Although the Sulphur Bottom's hull was damaged in the attack by a mysterious woman, the damage has been...
Why would you call it the Sulphur Bottom?
Surrounding Forbidden Island anytime. Preparations are complete. The crew ready. The Sulphur Bottom is gathering speed, preparing to penetrate the cloud of mystery surrounding Forbidden Island. Following the attack hours ago, we were all asked to disembark and return to our ships, where we stand watching Von Blucher embark on his greatest adventure, and what may be humanity's greatest adventure. Will he succeed in reaching Forbidden Island? We'll continue with live updates throughout the day.
Quick, get all this text out in the Japanese lines timing.
We can get underway whenever you're ready, sir.
Understood. Well then, everyone, are you ready?
We won't let anything get in the way of a story. We're not like those wimpy TV reporters.
You're really going to go through with this?
Yes, I am. I have to.
I must.
Well, if you're going to do it, then do it. I mean, we've come this far, right?
Thank you.
Terrible reasoning.
All right then, let's go. Main engines online.
Main engines online.
Set course for the center of the island. Engage!
And copy wrong.
Looks like they're intent on ignoring my warning.
Weapons activated.
Remember, I don't want them hurt.
Understood.
The stabilizers on this ship are amazing. You can hardly feel the wind. I'm impressed.
Unidentified object approaching from above at high speed, sir.
Activate defense grid. No one will stop me, not now.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Bond, order the Drakes to go to yellow alert and stand by.
Ready.
Just a little more. Just a little closer. Fire, now!
Fire repressors activated. Engines offline. She's out of control. Emergency escape pod launch mechanism damaged.
What? No.
Now you've really done it.
Apologies, Mistress Yuna. We should retreat.
They probably won't crash for a while at least. I'd hoped to stop them before they got this far.
Roll! The Sulphur Bottom's being sucked into that storm!
Gramps!
What should we do?
We can't take the flutter in there. And we're almost out of fuel. We'll have to set down on a nearby island. We can figure out what to do then.
Wow, we finally reached a point where there's no voice acting. Okay. We've got to get on that ship. And it hit me. Look at this. What? This is a drop ship. You've already mentioned this. He told me never to build a drop ship, but still, it was an emergency. Alright, we need to get some pots. And now we're playing it for Space 2. Welcome to town. Die! Oh, sorry. Oh my god. Oh my god! There's really terrible camera controls. Hang on. Can I... There we go. Nope, that didn't fix anything. That's okay, I'll just live with it. Yeah, you remember L and R1? Yep. I was trying to use this, but this is actually worse. Oh, much better than the last game. Holy crap. Yes. I mean, the first game was perfect. Please don't kill me, Imperial Star Destroyer. Actually, you know what? Maybe I deserve to be killed. Please kill me, Imperial Star Destroyer. End my misery. Used to have a lot of diggers. Of course, there was no treasure left in runs. They stopped coming. Yeah, that's how that works. I mean, duh? Is that a question? Reminds me of Kingdom Hearts 1. The original. There's a bank. That's a post office. Not by you. That's not the talk button. We believe it's our job to help bring people closer. Let's see. Any mail for you? I just got here. Your Messiage. City has a post office? Bigger than I thought. Yeah. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna sneak up there. They'll never see me coming. Nothing but tea, Warp Core. Nothing. Ain't no way you can do a dig that not with a body like that. Who'd take care of Maria if you get hurt? Don't go, Joe. Maria's been good to me, but I gotta do this. Sorry, Warp Core. I've officially become a clickbaiter. You can earn a good living fixing people's stuff. Maybe just settle down for a while. Take it easy, you know? If something happens to me, look after Maria and her daughter. For I am the Edge Master. That person. I feel like I know him. Like I've met him somewhere before. Really? Yeah, a long time ago. Hi there. Looking for something? Yeah, I'm looking for cheap. Do you have any cheap? We do have some private. I'm all out of private. Huh? Well, I'll be. You two friends of Joe's? I don't think so. Why? Well, it's just that I've seen this before in his lab. You know, little shed that's near the flying ship dock, that's his lab. Joe's working on something that looks just like this there. Rock, that means this Joe must know my father. I've got to go talk to him. Roll, wait. Oh, they've got junk, screw, and free. They've also got parts. Well, she's gone. Oh, I could go for some good free right about now. They've got some weird tessellation going on. It's surprisingly effective. Like here, look at that person right there. Do you see how they're... Well, okay, maybe you can't quite tell, but... They're barely a rendered model. But when I get closer... Like there's a moment where they noticeably get higher... I guess polygon count is what I'm looking for here. Like there. Do you see that? Look at him right there. That's really obvious. Look at that person. Look at him. Then we inch forward and they get a little better. And then we get forward and right there. Do you see that? Right there. And this is my afternoon now. What game was that? There was some game... Oh! Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII is hysterical, because I didn't know until I played it for the review, which was the remastered version, how much of the characters on several screens weren't 3D objects. They were just 2D objects pasted there, like they took a screenshot of the 3D renders, and then pasted the screenshot on the screen. It's hilarious to go through nowadays. Clever, though. Clever way to reduce the load. That's right, my husband went through the Forbidden Island looking for new digs, because that's what they're calling it nowadays. It didn't work at all in Mass Effect 3. Probably because it was immediately noticeable in Mass Effect 3 and looked like crap. And that's the big thing, that if I could ever impart upon anybody something, just because you're making a sandwich doesn't automatically make it good. You still have to make a good sandwich. Right? Just because you're using tessellation, or 2D graphics, or sprite work, or stylized music, or 8-bit music, or whatever, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing does not matter. What matters is you have to do it well. This is a blind run. Although I'm pretty sure I actually know all the lore, like the background lore here, but we'll see if I'm right about that. Rock, I was thinking, what if there's more than just dropship mechanics? What if there's something else of my father's here? Something that could lead me to him. How about some appropriate clothes for the cold? You're still mostly biological, aren't you? Don't worry. He's alive. Thanks, Rock. Can't give up hope, right? Alright, let's go. Yeah, flour. It's just like the blueprint. Maybe my father is here somewhere. Who are you? If you're looking for my dad, he's not here. Uh-oh. He went to the ruins. Dad, you mean Joe? That's my dad. Well, he will be soon, anyway. Mom says once he goes to Forbidden Island and comes back, he'll be my dad. That could mean a lot of things. Is there someone named Casket living here? Nope. Never heard anyone named Casket. What? But what does that mean, Rock? I was so sure he was here. Let's find Joe and talk to him. He can probably answer your questions. I guess you're right. Ugh, yeah, yawn attack, yawn attack. Ugh, this is the closest I've gotten to my parents. Come on. Hi, Darkrai. Aren't you up late? Or actually, no, you're up early, aren't you? I love you, Daddy, is spray painted. Aww! It's so the kid spray painted that on the dropship. I told you, Dad's gone to the ruins. Oh, that sounds like a stage to me. Yeah, he really should be Rock here. In fact, if this is what I'm thinking it is, and it totally is, then yeah, he should be called Rock here. I would like to save. I don't know what that means, Darkrai, but I'm glad to have you here. Regardless. What should I do? What should I do? Joe went to the ruins. Okay. Now we're gonna do the safety save while we're here. There we go. Come on, I can clearly jump over that! Interesting. I could carry roll over that, I think. Unlocked, don't mind me. Interesting Yoshi drum approach. So, I'm gonna go ahead and complain about something about the controls right now. You ready for this? 100 negatives for this. Okay, so I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna shoot. See the problem there? One more time. We can move smoothly, sideways and forwards while shooting. We cannot move smoothly back. We actually cannot move while shooting backwards. That's true. This game is the most perfect game ever made. I don't know. Do you think 700 pluses are sufficient, Jordan? Ow. Are there any Reaver bots? Yep, a lot of them. I'm also getting human life signs. Alright, 701, just for you. Pretty weak. Looks like you might be hurt. You wait here, roll. I'll get him. But, roll. Alright, good luck, Rock. Because his name's Rock! Alright, Thank you, Trayvon. As always. I will put that towards the Zelda block. And as a reminder, you can put it towards up to 2 additional things at no cost, if you'd like to. You got it, Trayvon. Give me 1 second. Okay, apparently there's nothing down this corridor, so sure, I'll just do it right now. Zelda block, Yakuza Kiwami 2, Kingdom Hearts block. Done. Ah. You know what? Plus to gameplay, it has Mega Man in the title. All in favor? Okay, I'm obviously being facetious, but can I just admit, I've seen a lot of game viewers over the years. And I have actually seen game reviewers, including professional reviewers, give pluses for things like it's a Metroid game, or reminds me of how much I enjoyed playing such and such game back in the day, or other bullcrap that has no point or place in being a positive thing. I could leave with Bolt Nut. It's better than Mega Man. No, I'm not letting that go. I mean, it's not just a nostalgia goggles thing. But the nostalgia goggles obviously are something that kind of comes up for that semi-frequently. It's one of the reasons I've pushed so hard against the idea of nostalgia as being... How do I phrase this? There's nothing wrong with enjoying a game because of nostalgia. Really. And I mean that with total sincerity. But the moment you play a game that you yourself might be willing to acknowledge as bad, and you only enjoy it because of nostalgia, is the moment you no longer have the right to say that that's a good game. It is a game you enjoy. There's a distinction there. However... Yeah, I know, right, Crazy Norse? These ruins have been cleared out for years. The thing that really pisses me off is the inverse of that. When someone tries to completely shut down your opinion on a game because, oh, you just think that way because of nostalgia. To use a direct example, I cannot tell you how many times I've been told I only enjoy a game, a show, a movie, or a book because of nostalgia. I mean, I mentioned this literally earlier today. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past looks good now. There's no nostalgia there. It's not for me. And, to really bring this together, honestly, I think this game looks pretty good. And I can't have nostalgia for this game. I've never played it! Anyways, point being, nostalgia sucks. There we go, we killed it. We're dead. Stop. Don't go on. Too dangerous. Don't talk, you're hurt pretty bad. Can't do anything for you here. I'm gonna take you back to the surface. Because this is Rock's voice now. I'm all for that idea, but it seems I woke up the big Reaverbot inside here. Yeah, no, okay, real talk for just a second. Look at this screen right here, okay? Look at wow. Look at Rock. Look at the main character. Mega Man Full Nut. Look at him for a second. Look at the back of his hair, okay? This is really, really basic stuff. But do you see how there's actually multiple shadings of the brown on his hair? That helps to indicate... it helps to make it look like something other than just a generic blob. And you can actually see the same thing on his armor. There's different shades of blue that help to give it a little bit of depth, a little bit of visibility. And I know that sounds like a duh, but if I'm looking at this, and I know this is going to sound strange, what this looks like is an SNES game designed in 3D. What I mean by that is the tenets of good sprite work have been portrayed on this game, right? You can tell that effort was put into it to make it look good, regardless of the limitations of the texturing. Because, if we're being honest, those textures are kind of terrible, but they make up for it by the color usage and the distinction thereof. And that's ignoring the basic stuff, like Kay was showing out earlier. There's some surprisingly good animations on display, too. Yep, he's passed out standing up. Wouldn't his arm... Nah, never mind. Aw, well, that's a thing. Okay. I have a feeling I'm going to regret that can't back up thing now. That's not the... Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not sure I'm going to give a straight brickwork positive, but I might give a sprite work positive. Because I do think this is legitimately good sprite work. Even that boss I'm fighting right now is pretty distinct looking. You can even see a bit of scuffing on his armor. I mean, hell, I'm pretty sure I've played PS2 games that look worse than this. That's not a joke, I really have. Yeah, that's fair enough. I've seen worse AAA games nowadays, too. You know what? Yeah, X7 does not look this good. I agree with that. I agree with that completely. Whoa, 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 whoa. And we're dead. So let's see what happens when we die. I have a feeling I know what's about to happen. Well, let's see what happens. Yep, nope, that's exactly what I thought would happen. Negative to gameplay. Alright. Honestly, a lot of older games had, for lack of a better way to put it, bad save design. Little bunny. The reason I was hesitating on giving that negative for the moving back thing is, well, maybe the game will be designed such a way that I don't usually want or need to move back. But between the lock-on and the fact that most of the enemies I've been fighting so far have been in narrow corridors where I am backing away from them, including the boss battle I was just fighting, that's not a good sign. It's also effectively a tank controls game, so we're always behind. One negative I will not be giving this game. Very skippable cutscenes. Yeah, that's actually something I've talked about before in several games. There are difficult games, and then there are games that are difficult, and there really is a difference between the two. A lot of early NES games would qualify as games that are difficult, not difficult games. Whereas Cyber Shadow is a difficult game. Anyways, no von Falkenstein, because I'm not sure how to charge exactly. Like, this is me holding the button down, which is usually how one charges. Oh, very much so, Crazy Norse. A game being difficult. I like that, Delicious Snow. It's a good way to put that. Get back here, evildoers. Also, while I'm on the subject, bad save design isn't necessarily... Well, I'm saying this wrong. Using save points as save design is not necessarily a negative. But let me tell you a story. Last night, my niece played Final Fantasy V for the first time. She was specifically playing the Pixel Remaster because that's the version that's on the Switch. Now, she fires up the game. Now, how many of you have played FF5 before? Because there's a little bit of required knowledge here. Exactly, Von Falkenstein. So, she's going through, and she goes through the intro and walks over to the thing. And oh my god, there's these goblins that are taking Lena. What do we do? So she joins battle, and this is the first time she's ever played a game like this before at all. So what she naturally does is she sees the enemies, and she hits down so she selects fight. So she selects fight. The cursor goes over here. She selects down, which goes, and it goes like at an angle like this. So then, in order to select the thing up and to the right, she hits right, targeting herself. And then she hits A and instantly kills herself, hitting a game over. I'm not telling this story to make fun of my niece, although it was very funny. But FF5 Pixel Remaster version specifically has autosaves. So, what she did was she hit the autosave, and she was pretty much right back where she was. And I understand the value and purpose of using a save system instead of just good save design. But it's worth noting that things like that are one of the reasons why autosaves tend to be a bit of a nice safety net, you know? Having said that, what the real point I was going to reach there, Von Falkenstein already got there first. What really matters is where exactly your save points are. Save point placement. Let me use two direct examples. In games like, I don't know, Dragon Quest VII, saves are not really all that frequent. And they're usually in town, specifically. And that can work out at some sections of the game, and super cannot in some sections of the game. By contrast, a game like, and I will use a specific example here, Chrono Trigger, tend to have saves very carefully and precisely placed all over the place. The odds of you losing substantial progress or otherwise being frustrated, that's much less likely to happen in Chrono Trigger. Now, I know that's low-hanging fruit because Chrono Trigger is Chrono Trigger, but the fact remains. Now, just for the hell of it, we're going to grab a save state here. Alright, let's go. Okay. Wow, that hits hard. Did you see how much of my health that did in one hit? Hang on. Oh, I can't even do arrow key movement most of the time nowadays. WASD for life, yo. Wow, that's a new attack. I didn't know you could even do new attacks. I'm just poking around to see if this even does anything. Probably doesn't. Why did that not? No, whatever. Oh, I have no idea, Darkrai. I think it's one of those, it was the only thing, so we just kind of lived with it deals. Well, that's all the pillars, and that didn't seem to do anything. Oh. That was worth a shot. I was just seeing what would happen, since there's an interaction with the pillars, so I figured there was something to it. I was wrong. I guess that's the problem with having a maximum turn radius. $305, Jordan. I can't leave him. If he dies, my chance of finding that my father died too. Or, hear me out for a second, we can't leave him to die because we're not horrible people. I guess you're right. Alright, we're not horrible people. So... Wait! The refractor. You've got to get the refractor. Unless you do, the machines will stay active. Okay. You've now gained the jobs of, let's see, Knight, White Mage, Black Mage, Thief, and Blue Mage. Ta-da! The doctor says he should rest. His family's on their way here. I guess he'll be all right now. Roll about your father and that dropship. I know, but I don't think now's a good time. Besides, we have to help Gramps, right? We've got to figure out a way to the Forbidden Island. Listen to me. Please. The Archbishop, Lazarus. I heard what you were saying. Unfortunately, I've lost my memory. Oh, God, really? I don't know if I could be of much help. I was holding that blueprint when they found me collapsed out. It's her dad. It's her dad! I don't know why I had it or where I got it. I just can't remember. That's why I tried to build it. And why I tried to go to Forbidden Island. No, it's Blue Mage Darker, I know that. And the main reason I know it is because I usually tend to start mainlining Blue Mage immediately in FF5. Remember, you can use the Blue Magic spell Frog Song on the boss of the second crystal. Have you ever heard of a person named Casket? What about my face? Do you think you might have seen me before? Sorry, I can't remember anything. Oh yeah. So you know the old guy in FF5? I'm saying it that way so I don't say his name out loud. For fun, I asked my niece how she pronounced his name. Then I asked my sister how she would pronounce his name. Neither of them were pronunciations I'd heard before, because nobody can decide how to pronounce his goddamn name. Anyways, it's alright. If you're going to use the Forbidden Island, use my dropship. All it needs is a refractor. The ones from the ruins should do it. Cough, cough. We can use your dropship? Thanks! Bye! Wait, Madison, please. That's all right. I have this feeling you were meant to use it because you're my daughter. Thank you. Wait, did he say something about daughter? I call him Galoof, by the way. Just to get that out there now that I've said it neutrally. Can I please use the door? Thank you. Can I help you? Nope, but you also have an Iceman book. Why do you have an Iceman book? Where's a Galoof in FF14? I know there's a Kryl? I think it's Kryl. Oh god, I forget how they pronounced it. I even like that character. Now there's another magazine by... I don't know who that is. They sell PlayStations at the local store. Excuse me, Mammy stations. They also have Black Zero posters, which are just cool. Everything's cooler when it's black. You're a digger, aren't you? Get out! There's nothing here for people like you. I came here to shop, lady. Just for that. Stick 'em up. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Okay, maybe I won't kill you. But only because the game won't let me. Galuff? Oh my god, that sounds terrible. I'm gonna keep going with Galoof. Is everyone cool with that? Cool. That's not what I meant to do. How am I doing that? Okay, sometimes I do a jump, and sometimes I do a roll, and I'm not sure what the distinction is. How am I doing these things? Alright, time to rob them like Santa Claus. Aw. Hang on, here's hold. Here's tap. Okay. Why is there a weird evil statue of evil in the middle of town? I'll destroy it too. Die, statue. Yep. That's how that should look. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. What are you doing in here? Oh, future benches. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. I actually did earlier, Crazy Norse. Even when you kill in self-defense, it must be so hard on you to kill so many innocent Reaver bots. Let me pray for you. I'm gonna need a donation! Oh, well, okay. Listen, this is a Capcom game with a church. I think we all know what that means. If your life reaches 0 or you run out of stuff, you die horribly. Okay. I'm apparently B class. No! Those poor, innocent Reaver bots. How could you even bring yourself to bring them down as the blood is still glistening on their sharp claws from all the horrible people they've butchered? Because Reaver bots only kill bad people. That's the distinction. So if we kill a Reaver bot, we're bad. Will you sell to me? I do like range boosters. I like all those things. What, Disco? I can't hear you over the thunderous echoes in my mind. So just to be clear, that's a permanent upgrade, and that's a potion, right? Yeah, I mean, Capcom actually has a long-standing tradition of having evil religions. It's funny because that's such a cliche nowadays, or I guess a trope. But most companies don't have a consistent habit of having evil religions, except for Capcom, which does it in everything they've ever done. Tyron Noctis. See, now I'm trying to think, because hang on. So, Square usually doesn't have religions in their games. Like, for example, FF1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 all didn't have religions in them. 10 is when they finally brought that up with Yu Yevon. And, ironically, it's not an evil religion. Tactics had an evil religion, and coincidentally, so did 12. A good religion in a Capcom game. Oh gosh. Well, 14 has several religions. It's kind of its own thing. Yeah, even Atlas and whoever does the Tales series stuff usually leans away from the evil religion thing. Yeah, Bolt Gun. I'm actually looking forward to Bolt Gun. It's on the list, although I think it's barely funded at the moment, which is fine. It's okay. I know the religion is secretly evil, Disco. It's fine. It's fine. Half-Life all over again. I sure hope so, Disco. And you're probably thinking, wait, don't you do feasibility tests on everything added to the list? Yeah. Now. And I have for several, years at this point. But there are a few games that got grandfathered in. Wow. It's rare that I so violently disagree with Resident Arc, but I'm going to violently disagree with that, Imperial Star Destroyer. FF6's themes are very overt, if very well done, admittedly. This is the heart of the Flutter. An explosion here would destroy the ship. Thanks, game. Not what I was looking for, but, coolio. I'm sorry, what's the game, Disco? Unless because lunch is the name of the game, in which case, never mind. Outlaws. I don't recall that one. I mean, Resident Arc usually does good stuff. It's just, man, I disagree with that. Just so much. Like if you came up to me and said that Jurassic Park was about consumerism, and I'd be like, no. And then we get into a fist fight, because that's the internet. Ugh. Whoa, there we go, okay. Gotta get that uppercut. You always gotta finish with an uppercut. It's more dramatic that way. Nobody cares if you finish with a light jab. Hey, I gotta rip my shirt off. Ah, there we go, I'm ready. So, this may sound like a strange comment coming from me, but I absolutely think some analysts read way too much into things. Although, in my defense, I haven't been accused of that kind of thing in years at this point. Mega Man dropship? You're not going yourself, are you? Of course, don't forget, both my parents were diggers. Besides, I'm worried about Gramps. But I don't know how to fly the Flutter. Don't worry, you can do it. If you have any problems, ask Data. He's only set the frickin' ship on fire in the last day. Yeah, exactly, Darkrai. There is such a thing as interpreting too much, or reading too much into it, or whatever. For example, is FF15 about the dreams of Etro? No. I love just this giant red death field around here. I hope you enjoyed it, Zoctaft.
Are you ready, Mega Man?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Hold hatch open. Releasing docking clamp. Drop ship away!
I was about to make the ODST reference. You beat me there, Dark Prince Revan.
Mega Man! Mega Man!
Here you go.
Good. If you want to come back to the flutter, just get into the dropship, okay? All right, then.
What, it goes back up?
Try and find Grant's ship. It looks like it's drifting. I'm getting a reading north of your position. When you're ready, try heading north and see what you can find.
Yeah, whenever I do the Mega Man rewrite, whoever voices Rock is going to sound like a guy, not a boy. Because I've always hated that they make Rock sound like... I literally cannot get my voice high enough in pitch for the woman that they hired to voice Rock. No offense to her, she's apparently a decent actress, but God, they just gave her the worst direction for Mega Man 8 and Mega Man X4. Don't worry, he won't sound like he sounds in Mega Man X7 either. So what you're telling me...
Mega Man, be careful. It looks like there's something under the snow in front of you.
Is that males with deep voices cannot be cute, Yura? Is that what I'm hearing? Game? Okay, whatever. I knew it. I knew it! Top 10 anime betrayals by Yura. Honestly, I would too, Pillars of Snow. And that's just sort of sad when you think about it. But there it is. Yeah, 8-year-old or stiff cardboard. Well, it's actually not, it's worse than that. It's whiny cardboard. I will never forget that line, because I can hear his voice right now. Why are Reploids always fighting each other? I'm tired of violence. I can't even do it. I can't sound as whiny as he sounded. Hello?
I'm picking up something.
Yeah, getting a cash magnet would be very helpful. Of course, that the light will always sound like he's someone who was brought in from the accounting department and given the lines, Mega Man. Also, no! You must talk, Dr. Wiley.
What is it? Do you see something? I'm not picking up anything.
It looked like me like force fields. Like stasis shields or something, right? But maybe they're frozen in ice, I don't know. That's very clear ice, if that's what it is.
It looks like there's a person or something up ahead. But how could that be?
Anyways. Oh, God, I didn't pick up any of that. Okay, I don't want to fight two of these things at once. We're just gonna nope out of here. You, Nero's ass. I haven't saved lately.
Reaper bot, closing in on you fast.
Obviously, Dr. Live, Mr. Red. Give me your best Dr. Wywee. I'm joking. Please don't actually do that. Oh, the Mega Man rewrite's penciled in, or penned in, excuse me. It's happening. It's just, it's a low priority right now. Oh yeah, I need to ask Evo about that too.
There's a Reaper bot close by. Watch out.
Where? I don't see one. Oh my god, there's a Reaver bot in that giant suspicious chunk of snow. Give me my money. Give me my money. Oh man. The Mega Man comics were legit when they were there. Admittedly, they weren't always good, but they did some great stuff. You ever read the Mega Man 3-bit where... Well, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff in the Mega Man 3-bit, but the one that will always come to mind for me is when he fought Needleman. Stop hearing what, Imperial Star Destroyer? I don't hear anything. Oh yeah, I should probably equip some stuff, since I bought it. Didn't I buy it? Oh no, I went with health items, didn't I? Never mind. Right, I decided to buy a health up. Foolish me. That's... Well, gotta get that daily mandated suicide. Fascism committing suicide. I'm just curious. Okay, surely that's enough to have killed them. I think their health is resetting each time. Or it's a new entity each time, one of the two. Hi.
Can you see Grant's ship yet? According to my readings, it should be somewhere close by. Superbot! Get out of there, Mega Man! Mega Man! Mega Man, can you hear me?
And now we're gonna get the wind crystal. Look, I wasn't killing them, okay? They were falling off all on their own. I'm just saying. That wasn't murder. It was just putting out the garbage. Well, the camera didn't like that happening. Well, that sounds awful. Imperial Star Destroyer, thanks for the warning, I suppose. Hi. As the saying goes, fire till you're out of ammo. Yeah, I was gonna say, multiple Mega Man games deal with grand-scale genocide, so... Or at least mass murder, if you want to be technically about the definition. That's a good question, Crazy Horse. I don't know. Correct, Disco. To my knowledge, there are no humans still alive in the setting that we're currently playing in. There are, however, quite a few carbons, is what they're called. Biomechanical.
The storm. It stopped.
What? Wow, they're still crashing. Hi, your Mazda. It has been a minute.
Oh, has it finally stopped? I thought we were goners for sure.
You're getting old, Beryl. That was nothing. Look at me. I'm fine.
Show off. For all that money you spent on it, you'd think this flying wash tub of yours would have held up better.
Well, accidents happen. If we were ready for them, we wouldn't call them accidents, would we?
Oh, they're still alive.
Some of those old fogies are so chipper, huh? My stomach feels like it's been through a washing machine spin cycle.
Diesel, look!
Uh-oh. It's the evil religion, because it's a Capcom game. I am here to bring you hope. The hope of cessation. And then, you know, death.
Well, that's done it. They woke her up.
The Carbons have decided their own fate. This is because they've activated Mistress Sarah. You've done enough for them, Mistress Yuna. You are required to relinquish the keys to her.
No, it's not enough. Why did the Master entrust that purifier unit with his genetic code? It was his job to hunt down and eliminate all aberrant units. So why did he become the greatest aberrant of all? There are still too many unanswered questions.
Mistress Yuna, surely you have enough information to arrive at a conclusion.
Think, Gats. What if the carbons, which the Master loves so dearly, were more important than the Master's system? What then?
What? The chances of such a possibility being true are non-existent.
Are they? How can you be so sure? Uh-oh, we better get out of here.
Agreed.
This game came out in 2002 or something like that.
It appears that Miss Yuna still does not intend to give you access to the keys, Mistress Sarah.
What is she thinking? Her logic is as mysterious as was the Master's. You know what you have to do.
Yes, the directive of this unit is ensuring your safety.
Very well. One of the Carbon's ships. We must first recover the keys to the library. We can acquire and deal with the Master's genetic code sample afterward.
Understood.
What gives? How come we end up stuck in here?
Think about it, Teasel. Do you think they're just going to have a press conference with what's happened?
What was that blue fellow doing there anyway? I don't like it, not one bit. One thing's for sure, I'll get him this time, or my name's not.
Shh! I'm picking something up.
So what you're saying is, if you have possession of these 4 keys, we can unlock the Mother Lode and save Mistress Sarah. Is that it?
Correct. We are from the past, your ancestors. We are in a world we never made. We mean no harm. We simply desire to live out the rest of our lives as best we can.
So you're pure evil. Interesting.
Of course, your troubles will be rewarded. With the keys, you will have access to technology that has long been lost to you. You would have the ability to make all the refractors you need.
I understand. Leave finding the keys to us. We are not the only ones searching for the Mother Lode. For your safety, I recommend that you stay here on the ship.
Speak of the devil.
Why, were you spying on me?
I thought we were supposed to be allies, aren't we?
We're a unified front, a team. We won't let you hold out on us.
Unified front? There's only 2 of you!
Ah, but they are veterans, remember, Teasel. Not like some people I know who think the more people you have working for you, the better you are.
Oh, and what about you?
Now, Teasel, the more the merrier, right? Don't get so upset. We can dump them anytime we want.
I guess you're right. All right, then, let's get this show on the road. What we need to do is split up and take over any town that's got a large ruin nearby. Then, we explore the ruins and find these keys. All right, boys, look sharp, let's go!
I'll see you around.
Come in, Bola. We've got work to do.
Those 2 really get on my nerves.
Pirates on the move already? That complicates matters.
Oh, stop it. You can't fool me.
Is it that obvious?
Don't you think you're getting too old for playing around with pirates?
Find Mega Man. Bring him here.
Yes, sir.
You're not going to drag them into your escapades again, are you?
Well, I just want to talk to them. They'll get involved with or without me.
My.
I mean, he's right. We're literally already involved.
Mr. Mega Man, sir. Mr. Blucher would like to see you.
Okay. Really? That's your music choice? The best part is that's probably in lore, right? Like, that's what they just have pumping through the ship right now. It's... Stop me if you've heard this one before, Evo. So far, I'm substantially more positive about the story than I am about the gameplay. Yeah, you have to be aristocratic. If you're not listening to opera while people are dying horribly, are you even really evil? Honestly. Oh, Klingon opera is just legit. Well, yeah, because they're not evil. Pay attention, Crazy Norse. God, you know what? I give up. If Crazy Norse isn't even gonna listen to me, I'm just gonna head out here. I'm out. I give up. Peace. No more. Nothing to do it. Give up. Reason. No more. You know, I have a random thought. First of all, we need to make an opera of seasons, obviously. But second of all, a game having better story than gameplay is so mundane as to be common, right? I'm sure amongst all of us we could come up with 100 games, just right now, if we sat down and thought about it, that have better story than gameplay, right? You're probably thinking, where are you going with that? Well, think about movies. No, I'm dead serious. Think about cinema as a medium. Now, if we do the proper translation, where story is the meat content of a movie, and the gameplay is how it's presented, the more technical side of things, most movies, percentage-wise, have higher gameplay and lower story. I don't have anything big or fancy or like, you know, it's no big revelation for that. It's just interesting to think about. Actually, I do have a theory about that. Games are better than movies! No, for real. I do actually have a real theory about that. Well, no, you're absolutely right, Crazy Norse. Think about this for just a second. While movies can cover a wide gamut of things, as can any medium, most mediums can do most things. Percentage-wise, most people who end up going to movies are there to relax, turn off their brain, and just kind of chill for like 3 hours, or whatever the time is, right? You get your popcorn, you sit back, you relax, you enjoy the experience. That environment tends to lean itself naturally more towards the gameplay axis anyways. Now, it's not saying that movies can't have good story, duh, but you get my point. By contrast, a game is something that you sit down and play, usually over quite a large chunk of time. Like, even short games tend to be longer than the longest of movies. Like, Thomas Was Alone earlier, and we'll be playing this for about a day and a half, if my estimations are correct. So, you want more meat content there to keep you engaged that length of time, and, well, it's a lot easier to keep a game engaging story-wise than it is gameplay-wise. In fact, if I could share one last little anecdote, this is purely a personal anecdote. Obviously, I've been enjoying games since I was 3, but it wasn't until Final Fantasy VI, yes, really, that the idea of a game that had a good story and good gameplay was something that I was exposed to. Up until then, I assumed it was one or the other. You either have a game that you endure for the story, or a game you play because it's fun. Sorry to call you on such short notice, Mega Man. Blucher has something he'd like to say to you. Listen to what he has to say, will you? So you're Mega Man, huh? So young, and yet you and your partner successfully explored Forbidden Island. You did a lot better than me, even with all my money and preparation. Enough small talk. Are you going to ask him or not? Yes, well... You see, Rock, because that's your name, I'd like to ask you to find and recover the keys to the Mother Lode. The Mother Lode? The Mother Lode. But that's not even a good dungeon. It's like one of the worst WoW dungeons in modern history. Yeah, but we got to get it out of the way at some point. Well, okay. Sorry to drag you into all this, Rock, but if we don't hurry, the pirates are liable to find the keys before we do. Will you help us? No. Well, that's settled. I'd like you to go to Puck Village. It's on Manda Island to the south here. All the settlements that have a key, Potkey Village is the smallest. I'm guessing that'll be the pirates' first target. Once you find the key, please bring it back to the Sulphur Bottom. Why is your ship named Sulphur Bottom? At best, that's like a reference to you dangling your feet above hell. Alright, future name. Future name. We're good. We're good. Sulphur Bottom. The name of the ship is the Sulphur Bottom. I got tired of waiting until you came back, so I came here. I listened in on what you were talking about. So, we're going to Manda Island? I'll go look it on the map. Okay. Bye, roll. Because he's full of hot air. I mean, this is a Capcom game, and Capcom games have always had kind of a sense of humor. Not a bad way, it's just, that's a thing they do. Like, have you played the Breath of Fires? Or Dead Rising? Maybe we'll run to that person who looks like my mother again. Nah. Development room? I would like to development, please. I would like to development some old hoverjets. If I had a rollerboat, I might be able to develop a new system. like to improve the Aqua Blaster. I would like to talk to Roll. The living and storage rooms were damaged in the fire. We have to repair them. It'll cost 6,000 zenny. Oh my god. Data! Do I have any money? Thanks. Well, now we don't have any money. Yeah, this world is, and I am not joking when I say this, a post-apocalyptic world. Actually, I'm sorry. That's wrong. This is a post-post-apocalypse. We're well past the apocalypse at this point. By, like, a ridiculous amount, like a millennia or something, if memory serves. Too much. Too much time. Congrats, Walker. Yeah, this is, like, kind of like how Spirit Tracks is a post-post-apocalypse. It's more like it's a post-post-post-apocalypse, which, as we've talked about at that point, you're just back to being a regular setting. $3,000 zenny for the rollerboard. Oh, okay. Horizon Zero Dawn is... so, despite the amount of time that's happened, which I know we disagree on, Horizon Zero Dawn is actually just post-apocalypse. Because, again, it's all more about the style and approach of the story, not necessarily the amount of time that's passed. New Vegas only happens a brief, short period of time after 3, and Fallout 2 only happens a short period of time after Fallout 1, and yet both are post-posts to the previous posts. Speaking of post, no mail. Nobody loves me! Okay, whatever. 3,000, that's my goal. I must have 3,000 zenny. But no, I'm not actually joking. I'm actually digging the story of this way more than I thought I would. I mean, you'll notice they've only partially dipped their toes into the terrible exposition bucket, which I always appreciate. And they've also been... I don't know, the cutscenes have been legit, the animations have been legit, there's been some good doodad design, and some bad. You get it. So what tier would I think would be acceptable to have dumped into this world? Oh, jeez. Bare minimum tier 4. Like that's the floor, I would say, honestly. Holy crap. Like, okay, so it's not really super well emphasized in what we've seen so far, but this world is also facing a bit of an energy crisis. They all rely on these things, the refractors is what they call them, and they don't really have a good way to produce new refractors, so they suck. Yeah, they do. They need Seal in order to solve the energy crisis.
I'm not picking up any more Reaver bots. They're all gone. Do you think it's because we rescued those ancients?
I do know. I have to admit, it's a little bit frustrating, and I'm probably going to ding the game for it. Because sometimes the progression button, the button you need to press to go forward, is A, or circle if you prefer. And sometimes it's B, or X if you prefer. And it's inconsistent. If it makes you feel any better, Yura, I know multiple reviewers will focus more on the art and the audio, as to say, sound design and music of a game, than the gameplay or the story. I actually expressed that with a bit of just confusion when I first heard about it. Since, I'm kind of the total opposite. Don't mistake me, I'm a big sucker for good visual design and good audio design. But a good game is a good game, and a good story is a good story, you know what I mean? Yeah, Okami was a really big example of that not too long ago. Great to look at. Really didn't score very well. But of course, if all I cared about was the art design, pluses everywhere. I'm trying to talk to these people. Sorry. I'm trying to prove that I could do it. Game! Ah! There we go. Jesus! That took a long... Do you see how much health that nuked? Holy crap! Anyways, plus for explosions, obviously. Plus for the fact that health is a thing. Plus for the fact that doors exist. Plus for the fact that there are sound effects in the game. Congratulations, Mr. Red. Now you get to unlock the real grind. Oh, Jesus. Wow, I didn't hit that at all. Plus for having an M in the title. Okay, we are turbo dead. I'm joking, Mr. Red. That's how most games would function. Like, you successfully finish the grind, and there's actually another grind behind it, because screw you. I love how these go away quickly, and there's no vacuum for them. So it's a double layer of irritation looting. Plus for blue, the usage of the color blue. Plus for Latari. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my god, I can't even move. Oh my god. I don't like this dungeon very much. Oh god. Zoom the camera out a bit more and make jumping be more relevant. Obviously, lock-on is a thing, but there's ways to, aim your shots without requiring a lock-on, right? Oh, I'm dead. Come on. There we go. Oh, it didn't do it! I'm just on fire. That's just my life now. Oh god, and the frogs are coming. The frogs are coming! The frogs are coming! Okay, hold on. You know, the more I think about it, and this is probably going to sound antithetical, is I think this would probably work better if this was just a straight-up FPS. But then again, I am one of those people who was actually excited about the Mega Man X FPS before it got canceled forever. Thanks, Capcom. Yeah, no, exactly. Make it kind of like Metroid Prime. Now, granted, as I said literally earlier today, doing a thing doesn't make it good, making it good makes it good. But a good Metroid Prime style Mega Man? Hell yes. I'd be all in favor of that. If you ever wonder what 30 Go 210 looks like in action, there you go. You found bomb schematic. Time to blow stuff up. Oh, I'd love a proper Metroidvania Mega Man game. Who could do a Mega Man game outside of Capcom? I imagine Way Forward at least has enough experience to give a shot of it. Oh, that's the thing. Okay. Yes, Yura. Hang on, Latario, give me a second. I'm about to die. I am now dead, so I can look at your question. No, I have not, Latario. I mean, honestly, I haven't even thought about it. We'll get there when we get there. I'm trying to think of who does good platformers nowadays. Or Metroidvanias. I know there are some, I just can't think of any for some stupid reason.
The blue fellow's here. You've got the electronic jammer set up, right? Yes, Miss Tron. Let's see. The voice synthesizer is all set. Okay, begin Mega Man Special Plan 3. Do you think it will work? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But that doesn't mean we won't try. Yes, Miss Tron. All right then, let's have some fun with Mega Man. Long time no see, Mega Man. I had a feeling I might run into you here. You're looking as good as ever. Well, as good as you can, considering how that good-for-nothing blonde treats you. What you mean? When I ran into Miss Blondie, she told me all sorts of things. Like how she's glad she doesn't have to go out on digs with you. Do you think that's fair? She gets to relax while you run around getting shot at. Don't you think that's a little strange? Well, Wait, there's more. Haven't you ever noticed that she's keeping some of the money you give her for weapons development for herself? She's skimming off the top, and you don't even realize it. What? Skimming? She makes you all sorts of equipment and weapons, right? Do you really think it costs that much? You really are sick, aren't you? She was showing off how much money she saved by stealing from you.
Roll would never say those kinds of things.
How can you be so sure? You can't judge a book by its cover. She might look sweet and innocent, but how do you know what she's really like? Looks like it's working. Who'd have thought?
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't find out about that, Mega Man.
What? Roll?
But I guess it's too late to try to hide it now that Tron's told you. Don't worry about me. You don't need to come back. You could team up with Tron.
Roll?
What? I don't want him either. Well, maybe. If he gets on his hands and knees and begs me, I might consider it. You really don't care if I have him? Me? No, not at all.
But...
Right. Just wait till I get through with him.
Take this!
Oh, and now we have to blow up her bot, obviously. Move.
Mega Man behind you! Take this! Mega Man, pick up some milk from the way home. Mega Man?
That's stagger.
You know.
Wait, where do I attack the giant enemy crab, though?
Take this!
Oh my god, that stagger.
Why should I waste my time with you? Don't bother coming home, Mega Man.
Well, you heard her.
Take this! Dinner's ready, Mega Man. Take this!
Oh, I'm at the edge of the map. Just gonna be over here. What the? I didn't know I could even do that.
Stand still! Take this! Take this!
Yes, Venetia. I mean, I get why they want you to encourage you to, you know, get the range upgrades, but yeah, that range is not great.
Take this! Take this! Take this!
Damn it! Can't even move when she starts doing that. And of course she likes to use that move a lot. Dashes aren't allowed in Mega Man games. It's slides or bust.
Take this! Take this!
I'm ready, Evo. I'm ready for the terrible, terrible advice of the lore.
Take this! Oh! The reactor's leaking!
Question that one.
Take
No, I thought the shrine was done, Eva. Oh, come on. Did you seriously just go invuln at 1 health? But no, the shrine's done. We're good. Pretty sure. That's fair.
Huh? Roll? Is that you?
Finally! I don't know what happened, but your transmission suddenly got cut off. Huh? What is it, Mega Man?
Nothing, Roll. I knew you'd never say things like that.
Say things like what? Are you okay, Mega Man? You didn't get hit in the head or anything, did you? Guess what's for dinner, Mega Man? It's your favorite, pizza.
Really? It's been a while since we had that.
Uh-huh. I even managed to find some pepperoni.
Can't have a pizza without pepperoni.
Okay. Right.
It was a good idea, but it looks like their faith in each other can't be broken.
Look at him. Talking with her like they don't have a care in the world. Made a fool of me again. You little... You...
What is it, Mega Man?
Oh, nothing.
Let's
Damn right. She's nothing.
I said let's get out of here.
I didn't say it, Disco. He said it. Of course, we all know I'm in favor of Rock falling in love with Tron instead of Roll, for reasons I probably shouldn't have to elaborate on. Yeah, she's a little bit too tsundere. Like, okay, she does the big thing like, oh, Roll doesn't want you anymore. And then rather than saying, oh, you should totally go with me, she says, no, I don't want him either. Well, I guess maybe if he begs on his hands and knees. And it's like, lady. Yeah, could you heal me, Data? Thank you. Yeah, like I said. No thanks. This book looks very difficult. It's always frightening to always get up in front of the class and write on the chalkboard. It is? Yeah, seriously. Trombone should just walk up and be like, hey, Rock. Because his name's Rock. You want to go out on a date? And Rock would be like, what? Yeah, a date. Just, you know. Go get some meal somewhere. Something like that. Rock would be like, yeah, sure. And they go out on a date. And then they're happy forever. The end. There you go. Boom.
There he goes. Do you really think that there's a key here, Bola? Bola? Huh? Hey, Bola, where are you?
Huh? Did you say something, Claymore?
Did you say something, Claymore? Get with it, Bola. We might be the ones to find the mother lode. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
No, not at all. Why should I care? I've got enough money to keep me living a good life for a long time. I want out of this game. Get it, Claymore?
Come on, Bola, don't say that. I've dreamed of finding the mother lode for years. Help me out, huh? I'll let you take care of that blue kid. I'm going to check out another island.
All right, all right. Wouldn't want to get in the way of you and your treasure.
Well, I already don't like that guy. And you're probably thinking, but why, Lore? Because I can picture the boss fight.
Looks like no one's ever been in here before. Isn't it exciting, Mega Man? You're the first digger to see this ruin.
Hold up. I'm the first digger to be in this ruin. That's what she said, right? This is a village. Like, that's a school. And in literally rock-throwing distance of the school is a dungeon no one's ever been into before. I'm not even going to bring up the fact that it's the only other landmark in visible range. We can kind of excuse that. There's only 2, Yura! It's okay, the scary monkey not only set my airship on fire, but is also my trusted ally. And a big spoiler for the first game, which I won't go into right now. Oh, so this is Germany Hardboiled 1. Okay, that makes more sense. I mean, I still try not to, Savicom. There's no reason to just casually be like, oh yeah, and in Breath of Fire 1, it was her sled! Especially when unprompted, right? It just reminds me of an old joke on Falkenstein, which I'm not going to tell because I suck at telling jokes, but it boils down to, yeah, no, several people from several nations get together and all discuss what they're going to do when their driver's license gets suspended. And the German looks at the others confused and says, but your driver's license is suspended. The joke is that no German would ever dare to do something against the rules. So they would never try to drive without a license. Obviously. Frogs. Had to be frogs. I hate frogs. Of course, they're irritating, and by God, do they get everywhere. I mean, I've been driving since I was like 11 Euro, so I'm probably not the person to ask that. That's true. I legitimately do not know how to cook eggs. I mean, frogs. Listen, we all know that all Americans are fat. We all know that all French are cowards, and we all know that all Germans follow the rules. It's just how it is, von Falkenstein. I don't know where all these things get started either. Apparently all Finns are drunk. I haven't heard that one.
Hi there. What's up? You're that digger called Mega Man, aren't you? Hey, what are you looking at me like that for? Boy, you're younger than they said you were.
Doesn't bone well for trombone.
Get me straight. I ain't got nothing against you personally, but my partner wants to get his hands on the mother lode, see? I haven't done this for a while. Hope I'm not too rusty.
See, I'd make fun, but at least he's being safe. He has his COVID mask on. They knew. Capcom knew all those years ago. That's why there's all the frogs. They're spreading COVID. Oh my god! That stun lock is starting to get old. Well, you see Von Falkenstein. He's German. I don't know. Could you, like, attack the frogs that are suicide bombing me, please? Nope. Oh yeah, all Eastern Europeans are depressed. It's just all of Eastern Europe. They're not even specific about that. Yeah, Toadman was like, you remember how I was like one of the easiest bosses in all of Mega Man history?
There.
Thank God cutscenes are skippable. In a PS1 game, by the way. What's your excuse again? FF10 and also Mega Man, or excuse me, not Mega Man, Kingdom Hearts 1. Thanks. Favorite animal motif in Mega Man? Ooh, that's actually a tough one. Let me think about that for a second. I mean, we could just throw up the cheat flag, Von Falkenstein. That is what it's there for. They did, but that doesn't really change my point, Jordan. I want you to think about the fact that this game we're currently playing has skippable cutscenes and came out quite a bit before Kingdom Hearts and FF10. And if that's not enough for you, well, do me a favor. Someone Google Ninja Gaiden 1 release date. NES game, to be very clear. Why are my jumps being weird all of a sudden? I don't even want to think about that. There we go. You know, that's a good question, Bud Wilkinson. I'm not sure. That is not a German elevator right there. That's another thing. Obviously, skippable cutscenes is its own thing, right? But the thing is, there's actually additional quality of life changes you can add on top of that. So, as much as I just made fun of Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2 does it reasonably well by allowing you to have a pause cutscene button, rather than just hitting pause automatically skips it, and then you can just sit there, pause for however long you want to, and then you can skip, right? It's like a little bit of extra idiot protection in case you accidentally tap the keyboard or tap the controller, which we've actually had happen on show before. Then there's games which do the thing where they will only allow you to skip the cutscene, or even automatically skip the cutscene, if you go right back. Like, you die against a boss, then you go back to the boss, and the boss just goes right into the boss fight. Like, there's some gradient here. Instead of just, you know, skippable cutscenes. But even basic skippable cutscenes have been in video gaming since the NES era, and I will never stop pointing that out when it comes to this kind of crap. So good on you, game. Yep, that's the thing that just happened. Wow, those hurt. You see what those did to my health? Good God. And we're dead. How long is this game? No reason. Just wondering. Not got what I have to do too. I just failed miserably at it and also had very low health at the start, so that didn't help anything. Like, I got body blocked by that frog right at the beginning, and that was more than half my health in that one thing. No one's ever been in here before. Ever. Actually, let's try a different question, because obviously asking how long the game is not going to get me a straight answer. Let's try this. What's the speedrun record for this game? Any percent? Interesting. Hour and 20. Wow. How he hits substantially less hard than his frogs do. Well, shoot.
Hey, you're tougher than you look, little man. I must be getting old. I'll be back once I catch my second wind. Try not to get killed before then, alright? See ya.
No promises. No, I've never played it, Yura. I am familiar with it, but I've never actually played it myself. Oh, this looks safe.
Looks like that trap can't be destroyed. If you're careful, you should be able to get around it.
If you can't think of any, don't bother, Evo. In fact, do that in general unless I say otherwise. No, Mr. Red. But thank you for asking.
Look before you leap, Mega Man. It looks like there's a control panel to your right. Can you see it? It looks like the door on the floor below that was locked is opened. Check it out, Mega Man.
That's some interesting grammar there. No, see, what I would like, ideally, Evo, is stuff that's like you'd find in a shrine, or a venerated place of, it's a shrine, I don't know. It's like you go there and you pay homage, and you visit the people who are keeping it, and there's the crown, which we can all look at. It's available for public viewing. It's like walking into the museum, you know? Except with more personal, cultural significance. Talk to him! Thank you. Maybe like a series of statues indicating the previous elven kings and queens. You know, stuff like that. Yeah, future clicking, Jordan. Future clicking. That's right. I want each statue to be completely unique, and I want an entire mural indicating all of elven history. And I want it by tomorrow. Go. See, I'm practicing to be a bad boss. Or I guess just a typical boss. Sorry for being redundant. Please don't do everything I just said. I'll be very sad if you do. Actually, I am thinking of one plus. One! And only one. It's the last plus this game will ever get. Plus having Mega Man in the title. You know, I figured you'd like this game since this is a dungeon crawler. And we all know that your favorite games are dungeon crawlers. Here's a random question for your Star Destroyer, if you're still there. What's your favorite aspect of this game? That's also applicable to anybody else who wishes to answer. Yeah, first I have to waste budget and time trying to find a cheaper option. Then, I'm going to waste money by hiring someone last minute who's a contractor who's bilking me in order to put out a substandard result in less time. I don't like anything about this. What the hell was... Oh, there's snakes on the ceiling. I was gonna say, why did the camera go up there? Remember when You Gotta Do What You Gotta Do was originally going to be a big theme of Futurama, and then they never brought it up again? You still haven't watched it, Savicom? Hurt voice. I mean, in the interest of fairness, it really deserves to be sat down and watched as its own movie. Watching it piecemeal is probably not going to help anything, unless you're taking notes. The comment will say, Laura, you suck. I hate you. You're the worst executor who ever lived. The end. Ugh, I could really go for a good sub right now. The Diablo rewrite, Dream Whisperer. Like real coupons? Like what coupons should be? That's kind of crazy. So I was at my grocery store recently, and I guess it's March of Dimes or something like that right now. Good night, Crazy Norse. So naturally, they asked me to donate, which I did, because, you know, March of Dimes is probably at least 50% legit. So I donate, and they say, cool, here's a bunch of coupons you get for donating. I was like, okay. But these all suck.
I'm back. Miss me?
No.
Ready for round 2?
I legitimately don't know what the thing was that I was donating towards, and honestly, I don't care. Why can't I jump? Is there like a ceiling here? There we go. I had to have been under something. God damn it. He pushed me under another pipe. Ah! Thank you, Jordan. Always appreciate. Hmm. Oh my god, there's the underwater level. Behold a vision of our future. Dragon Quest V, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed he grabbed a helmet. Gosh. I'm glad I've been making the effort to leave the dungeon to save every time we do anything. Could you imagine if we had to just start the dungeon over here? Because I could. I've played games like that. I think we're going this way next. Yeah, looks right. Everything that just happened. Okay. Perfect, Evo. I imagine the elves would definitely allow mushrooms in their venerated cave of ancient cultural significance and political significance while we're on the subject. I mean, every time I go to the Congress building, I am amazed by how many mushrooms are in it. Why aren't you jumping? Do you have an aversion to jumping, Mega Man? Am I gonna have to completely redo the whole background from scratch using a completely new thing? Just to satisfy you, Evo. Is that where this is? Is that where we're at now? The things I do for friends. Just think visual storytelling, Evo. You know what visual storytelling is, you're quite good at it. Well, that was interesting. What? Okay. That's 3 times in a row the exact same thing has happened. I'm starting to think there's a bug where you cannot jump immediately after, move, whatever this, strafing. Right after strafing. Yeah, that's 3 times in a row. That cannot be a coincidence.
Oh. Dang, give an old man a break, will you? I think I pulled something. You might not realize it, but someday you'll be old too. Enjoy your youth while you can, but develop your skills, because your speed won't last forever. Oh, what do you care? You're not even listening anyway, are you? Later.
that card key was so hard to get, it must be used to access a central control panel. It's probably what you need to activate the panel that was just inside the entrance.
Yep, you heard it here, everybody. Old age comes for us all, so give in all hope. Submit to despair. There is no future. No positivity. There is only the toxic side of the Force. Which, if you think about it, the dark side as portrayed is usually, you know, pretty toxic, so that tracks. I mean, the Japanese do have this very dumb concept of Christmas cake. Just saying. Is it 25? It's such a...
Should be able to get to the top of the tower now. Wait, I'm picking up multiple readings. The Reaver bots seem to have been activated everywhere. Be careful, Mega Man.
Thanks for the heads up, Roll. Anyways, so Christmas is December 25th, right? But you don't want to eat a Christmas cake after December, right? Which is dumb on every level, but that's where it comes from. So the idea is nobody wants to be with a woman who's over 25. She is now unmarriable. Yeah, no, it's not actually that prevalent. Thankfully. I shouldn't say that. I don't see it all that often. I was only introduced to it relatively recently. So, from my limited anecdotal evidence, it's not that big of a deal. Which is good, because it really shouldn't be. As I say, meanwhile, here in the States, we have a concept called a cougar. I don't know where that term came from. Like, I don't know what they called it. I don't know where the etymology is on that. Apparently I can't talk. Yeah, could you imagine wanting to marry when you're 25?
It looks like some kind of trap was activated when that tower appeared.
Well, knockback continues to be a thing. Let's go down to B2. I mean, MILF is just an acronym. That's very easy to explain. What the hell is a cougar? Or as some people like to call it, a jaguar, which I don't like to make fun of other people's pronunciations, but every time I hear someone say jaguar, I just kind of grin a little bit. Then again, I call it Diablo, so what the frack do I know? I think I've heard that one, Darkrai. Actually, for the longest time, I heard it pronounced as Bologna. I forget what that's called, but when you the N, you know? Like El Nino. I don't like any of this nonsense. Let's get out of here. Or like, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Bologna. So these didn't do anything last time, which means now they're hell. Hell mode engaged.
The readings from that room are
Could
different
you...
from what they were before.
Could you... Roll! 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 Ah! For the record, I pronounce it baloney. I don't know if that's correct, and honestly, I don't think I care. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Watch your step, Mega Man.
Okay. Evo. Evo. I put my hand on her shoulder. Listen. Hang on. Everyone hit the stream brakes. I'm going to bring up a shot of a shrine in FF1. And then I'm going to point to it and say that. Let's do here. This should be good. There we go. Perfect. Copy image link. Sidle over to Discord, which of course is not open, so I have to open Discord. Move this over here. Look down at Evo. Link this. So this is like a shrine, right? Now you look. Notice how it's completely empty looking. Now I'm not linking this to make you feel stupid or anything. Actually, quite the contrary. I'm trying to engage your brain because you're looking at a cave and thinking, what fits in a cave? Don't think that way. Look at a shrine. What belongs in a shrine? What belongs in a place like that? Or... Let's see if I can find a better shot here. Hang on. Don't listen to her. She's not stupid. Let's see. Maybe this one? Oh, you know what would be a good shot? Hang on, hang on. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I gotta... Oh. Come on, hand. Work with me. There's Onrak. There's the Gaia Cave. There's Mount Gulg. The Merilith. Here we go. The Citadel of Trials. This should be a good visual. Okay, let's try Citadel of Trials 2. So I agree. It is very hard to do. It's one of the reasons I'm so big on good doodad design is I understand and acknowledge that it's hard to do. Whoops. There we go. There we go. Here's another shot. This is actually a completely different location, but shriny, right? And you notice there's vines on the wall and everything. And you're probably thinking, well, Lord, why didn't you just use this tile set for that? I want you to look at that screen and tell me how that would work out for that. I guess I could still do that. That's not a terrible idea. The only danger there is that anybody actually sufficiently familiar with FF1 will say, hang on a second. That's not, you know, the cave. That's the shrine. And then they get punched. And then we're good forever. I get to pinch something, and they get to point out something that was wrong. Everybody wins. Oh, jeez. I'm being shot. I'm being shot. I'm being shot at. I'm being shot at. Everything's cool. Everything's cool. We're all cool here. Nope, we're committed now, Evo. There's no going back. It's shrine time or nothing. You found 2006. They hit me for half my health. Oh my god. And I don't have any heals right now. I don't know if you're familiar with that. And I can't even quickly get back to the space where I can heal. Or, excuse me, not heal. Wrong word. Save. There we go. This is just the eternal dungeon of hell. I even ignored a chest earlier because I was terrified of going into it. Because there's just hell everywhere. Please give me a shortcut or a save or something. I'm not even going to be mad that Data has somehow gotten here before me. Just give me a save point, please. God damn it. Okay. Okay, we're cool. We're cool. Everything's cool. Everything's cool. Nothing is wrong. Everything is permitted. Possibly glitchable. I'm not actually sure. Okay, so that was a door. And this is a trap. Yep. I was ready for it. Yep. Oh yeah, this game is definitely a purple game. Oh, come on! You... Save point? No, not a bunch of chests, which were all evil. Just a save point, please. 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 Oh, God, please. Door. Door. No! Use the door! And we're dead. Wouldn't use the door. The end.